Well. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. Had to check that. Manchester United back to winning ways last night in the Champions League. But as much as it was brilliant to watch that, it was brilliant to watch. Well, not brilliant to watch the first 60 minutes of it, but the last 30 I enjoyed. I really celebrated that Jadon Sancho goal. Not sure about you. We'll speak about that later in the stream. But it's all about Manchester United's search for a new manager. We have to speak. There's so much that's constantly happened about it. Last night, Pochettino was asked about it ahead of City's game with PSG in the Champions League. He spoke about it. I'm going to run through all those quotes and the fact that his club is fighting in the Premier League. I'll explain that. Going to run through all the stories that emerged last night about Ernesto Valverde, the ex-Barcelona manager who is now in talks with Manchester United over the interim job. Manchester United finally looking like we're doing a bit of a backup plan. We're going to be speaking about those Valverde rumours in detail. I'm going to be mentioning Mancini's name this morning. I'm going to be mentioning Ralph Rangnick's name. Going to be mentioning Erik ten Hag's name. Going to be mentioning Jadon Sancho's name. Wow. It really is going to be a busy show. Things are continuing to develop extremely fast. The title of the video is very, very simple. Poch wants this Manchester United job. Doesn't matter what he's saying, and we'll run through all of his quotes yesterday. Poch wants that job. He wanted that job in 2018. He didn't get it. It was given to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 3 years later, we're in the same situation. He wants the job, and I'm going to run through all the latest updates because, of course, it does. As simple as it is for Manchester United to go and get Pochettino in the idea that Poch wants Manchester United, it's complicated by Zinedine Zidane, which is exactly why Manchester United, the reports came out last night from Fabrizio Romano and Jamie Jackson that have been not verified, but corroborated by James Ducker from The Telegraph and Simon Stone from the BBC. United are in talks with Valverde. What's your reaction to that in the comments? I was thinking about doing another live stream yesterday after the game, but I was like, nah, I can't be asked. I wanted to chill after that game, which, as I said, I quite enjoyed the last 30 minutes, and we're going to be speaking about that. Let's dive straight into this one, though. Let's talk about what Poch said yesterday. And in a game, I found it hilarious, genuinely. Before the game between PSG and Man City in the Champions League, in a match that's got Messi, Neymar, De Bruyne, Mbappe, all everybody could ask Poch about was whether or not he's going to join Manchester United. We're all, you only come to United. It's true. Let's go and let's look through these Poch quotes before we speak about Valverde. As I said, I'm going to be today. Before I quickly start. Today, I was going to do my in-depth tactical video on Pochettino, looking at his coaching style, his philosophy, and his principles. I think I might delay that until tomorrow and do a full story look at the Ernesto Valverde because we have to have a proper discussion about that. So I'm going to be doing that video on Valverde later today, and I'm going to delay my proper video on Pochettino until tomorrow. It's busy, man. It's a busy time right now. I didn't expect to have to do a video on Valverde. Then the Valverde rumors came out of nowhere, so we got to discuss them. But let's talk about what Poch said. That's the important starting point here. Let's have a look at what Poch said. Hey, Pochettino, I'm so happy at PSG. I don't know what that accent was. Pochettino's so happy at PSG and won't let the Manchester United rumors distract him. Let's scroll down and let's see the quotes themselves. This is what he said. He said, I'm focused. I'm very focused on football. I'm not a child. Thank you for that. That clears that one up. I spent my whole life playing football, and now my 12th year of being a coach. We're in a business. The rumors are there. I understand what is going on. This kind of thing cannot distract. Rumors are there. We need to live with that. We are focused, giving 100% to get our best from the club and the players. I'm so happy at PSG. For tomorrow, we are focused to get the best result we can. We scroll down here. We see what else he's saying. What another club are doing is not my business. I need to be focused on PSG. I'm not going to make the mistake of talking. He says, I'm not going to make the mistake of talking, and then goes on to talk about Fergie. Everything we'll say. It was in the past when at Espanyol, when I said my dream was to meet Fergie. Anything I say now is going to be misunderstood and out of context. I was a PSG player. I love the club. I love the fans. We are fighting in Ligue 1 and the Champions League. And as this Sky Sports reporter goes on to describe at the bottom here, this was a good performance from Pochettino. So he was saying all the right things. And it's one thing that absolutely cracked me up. I'm sure you saw it. If you didn't see it and you haven't watched Pochettino's interview, I won't play the whole thing because no doubt it'll probably get taken down for copyright. But this cracked me up. This is a snippet from his interview yesterday. And note where he says PSG are fighting.
I am focused and to try to give my best like we are doing. I was a player in Paris Saint-Germain. I love the club. I love the fans. I think it's a fantastic time to be on the club. We are fighting in the Premier League. I think it's 11 or 10 points.
Poch's head's in Manchester, man. He's fighting in the Premier League. That just made me laugh. Of course, that's just a Freudian slip, but it just really made me laugh. And I don't think anybody's under any real sort of illusion that Pochettino wants Manchester United. Everybody knows it. This is not something that's just come out of nowhere, really. The Poch rumors, as I said, you rewind 3 years, Poch was all over it, and 3 years later, he's come back full circle, and he still wants that job. And it's come at a right time, right? Because if Poch was flying high at PSG, and they are dominating the league. If he was properly settled in there, then these rumors wouldn't come around. But it's all come at the right time. In the same way, as I said on a stream, I think yesterday, they came at the wrong time for Brendan Rodgers because, Leicester aren't doing that well. Mount saying not once did he say I'm not interested in United in that press conference. No, he did not, Mount. And it's always you can look into it, and he every manager, every player, they're all street smart now. Everyone knows what is done in the press. And if you want to quash rumors, it's dead easy. I'm not interested in Manchester United. I'm not interested in rumors at all. Can we just stop the rumors now? Leave it. Done. I'm at PSG. I'm a manager. I'm under contract. Why are these conversations even happening? That's what someone would do and would say if they are totally against the rumors existing. But Poch isn't. So he won't. That's simple. And as I said, he wants Manchester United. So it is up to United to go after Poch. That is straightforward. And Manchester United know that now. But the complications with Pochettino are not particularly about Pochettino himself. For me, the difficulties around Pochettino surround Zinedine Zidane. And that's what we're going to be speaking about next. 1 second. Just got to quickly check something on the Twitterati. Oh, geez. There you go. There's another one. Coming up here, just a tweet from Andy Mitten. Thank you very much to whoever said that in the comments there. I'll add this to the list of what is coming next. But trust me, man, this really is a stacked show. We're not just talking about Poch. And herein lies the chaos of Manchester United, ladies and gents. This morning, in Manchester United's new search for a new manager, we're going to be speaking about Poch. We already are. We're going to be speaking about Ten Hag. We're going to be speaking about Ernesto Valverde, Rudy Garcia, Mancini, Zinedine Zidane, Ralph Rangnick. The list is endless. It's like going into a supermarket when you're hungry and just throwing everything in your basket. But United know that Poch wants the job. Everybody knows that Poch wants the job. Simple as that. If Manchester United go in, pay the 10 million, and it is 10 million euros, it's a reasonable. I mean, it's not reasonable. It's 10 million euros. It would change all of our lives. So many, but this is in the context of football clubs. And 10 million, given that we just paid 7.5 million pounds, I believe, to Solskjaer to sack him, it's par for the course. Manchester United won't struggle to pay that money. But Zinedine Zidane is the issue. Now, all we've heard, there are no updates this morning on Zinedine Zidane, but everything we heard yesterday is that PSG are exploring Zidane, that Zidane is happy to be considered for the job and he's open to the idea of it. So what Manchester United need to do is force the issue here. Manchester United need to go to PSG with the offer, boom, we'll give you 10 million. We want to buy Poch out of his contract, because that will then force PSG to have the conversations with Zidane. If United were to completely sit back, then we might just let this Poch thing delay. Spot on here. It does sound like it feels like a random transfer window at the end of bloody November, because when it comes to Manchester United, it's never like, I suppose that's a lie. We were linked with Jadon Sancho for so long, just Jadon Sancho, but it just took ages. And now we're linked with so many managers, and we don't really. I think we know who our main target is. It strikes me as Pochettino is who Manchester United want, right? And this is, for me, why I'm not upset with these Valverde rumors that are coming out. And I'll get into them just now. I'll say this before I do start talking about them. Manchester United need to have a backup plan. I was so angry with the club that they didn't have a backup plan to Solskjaer, that they gave a new extension to Solskjaer in the summer. They gave extensions to Phelan publicly, and then behind the scenes, they gave extensions to Carrick and McKenna. And they just doubled down on it. Instead of looking at alternatives and thinking about what could happen if it all blows up in our face, we just didn't, which is why we're left in this situation now. So to see Manchester United looking and exploring and opening talks with backup interim options in case the Poch deal doesn't happen, I think that's a smart move. And I'm not too upset about it. Now, it depends whether you want Valverde or not, because this is the story. Let me explain to you the story of Valverde and what's been going on. As I said, I'm going to cover this in a full story video later on today as well. A much tighter, more succinct version of this video, because not everybody enjoys the live stream. As much as I love doing these live streams, I love talking to you and the interaction and answering your comments and your super chats and everything like that. Not everyone's got time to listen to me waffle on for 40 minutes every day. So I do try and weave it in with the short videos, because I know that's what people do love sometimes. So I'll do that video as well. Don't say I don't treat you well. But Manchester United have met Ernesto Valverde with Pochettino still in the sights. This is coming from Jamie Jackson and Fabrizio Romano. This came out just before the game yesterday. Was a bit like, yeah, we were in the build-up to the game. I was sitting there getting excited, I was on the live stream trying to see what Carrick was saying about dropping Bruno Fernandes. By the way, right choice, absolutely right choice. Not because Van der Beek played so well, but look how fresh Bruno was when he came on for that cameo. Looked great for 30 minutes. Anyway, I was trying to concentrate on that. And then all the stories came out from Fabrizio and Jamie Jackson about Valverde. Then Poch was speaking about his future at PSG. And then Ten Hag was piping in, saying it was good with the Manchester United links. I'll get into that next. I was like, mate, what's going on? It's like everything's coming at once. It was like, it's kind of hard to get your head around. And that's what it is at United right now. It's chaos. It's chaos everywhere. There's so many stories. I suppose it makes it interesting to report on it, but I'd rather my club were, run like a football club. Things were a bit simple, and we could just focus on the good football on the pitch. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, eh? Let's go down and see what Jamie Jackson and Fabrizio Romano were saying about Ernesto Valverde. Man United has spoken to Valverde regarding becoming their interim manager. He was Barca's manager from May 2017 until January 2020, winning La Liga twice and the Copa del Rey. It is understood that Valverde has discussed with John Murtough, United's football director, taking over on a temporary basis. What's your opinion on Valverde? Get your comments in, get your opinions in, your questions in, and your super chats in, just like all here, because I'd really like to know what you think about Valverde. Because let's be honest, until yesterday, Valverde's name was not even really mentioned. And if I was talking about Ralf Rangnick being an experienced option, I don't think I can dismiss Valverde, right? Let me see what all's saying. For me, it's a no. The only Ernest I want is Hemingway. Oh, isn't that poetic? United, get your shit together and just go for Ralph now and Ten Hag later. Donny. Hey, look, Donny, yesterday was, I don't think he took his chance massively. I quite like the Donny and Sancho link up, although I'll do say that. Let me go down here and see what you're saying. Fake news is very common these days, says Jay Razor. It is very common, but this isn't fake news. As I said, I'm reporting this from The Guardian and Fabrizio Romano. I'm reporting it from The Telegraph and James Ducker. I'm reporting it from the BBC and Simon Stone. This isn't fake news, ladies and gents. As I said, when you get stuff like this that comes out from multiple sources at the same time, it's the news. So I'm covering it here. Vic, you don't want him in. Gary, you're saying okay until the end of the season, I suppose. No to Valverde, says Stefan. Why did Valverde leave Barcelona, says Tony. I see you, Tony. I haven't seen your name there for a while. I think he was sacked. Might be wrong there, might be wrong. But I'll look into that when I'll do my full story video later on today. Give you a bit more information. If he was good, says Lee, he'd be in a job. Okay, that's a fair comment. That's a fair comment. But if Manchester United are going to get an interim manager, it has to be someone with the experience like that. Something that made me shit myself yesterday, and I haven't seen it verified anywhere. I saw reports coming out that Valverde, as an interim, with the current Manchester United coaching staff. So not feeling, I'm guessing, but Carrick and McKenna staying on and working under Valverde. And I was like, nah, you've got to be, no, you're joking me. As good as yesterday was, Carrick is an interim manager. That is it. Don't want it to go anything more than just a couple of games with there. But as I said, it was Jamie Jackson and Fabrizio Romano that started with the Valverde news yesterday. And here is Fabrizio's tweet saying, Man United's board have had direct contact with Valverde. No decision made. He is one of the 5 candidates in the list in case Poch won't be allowed to leave PSG. Who else do you think is on that list? You get your names in the comments now. Because I don't know, I was going to do this later on, but I think it's that one there. Oh, look at that. God, I'm good. Christian Falk is saying that Ralf Rangnick is not on the list. Not true. Manchester United will go after Ralph Rangnick. The talks between Rangnick and United in 2019 were very unsatisfactory for both sides. So I don't know whether Christian Falk's been drinking this morning, because that's completely the opposite of what everybody's always said about those talks in 2019. Apparently, well, yeah, as I said, it's the opposite. And the reason I say has he been drinking is because he whipped this name out as well. Roberto Mancini's name being banded around. And of course, Mancini's not going to go anywhere. Italy in the playoffs for the World Cup, and they've just won. Yeah, it's Mancini. I don't know why his name didn't get linked. But yeah, let me run through here. This will be interesting to go to the comments here and see if there is a list of 5 managers, who is on that list. See, you think it's Zidane, Rodgers, Haag, Poch, and Valverde. If I'm looking at that list there, my friend, Zidane's not interim, Rodgers isn't interim, Haag isn't interim, Poch isn't interim. I'm seeing 1 interim manager. I'm not talking about the permanent options. We're looking at Poch, Ten Hag, and Rodgers. Pretty much your only 3 choices, I would say, Manchester United, because as much as anybody wants Zidane, it's not happening. But who is on that list? Rangnick and Blanc. Apparently, depends whether you believe Christian Falk or not. Rangnick might not be on the list. Poch, the coaching staff has to go, says Paulie. Yeah, absolutely should. Ant says Roberto Mancini is apparently an option too. Look, Mancini, scratch it from the list. Add Mancini to the same list as Diego Simeone. Simple as that. It's not coming. Cinderella, Widow Twanky. Who the hell was that? Buttons. Fred's feeling chipper this morning. Very chipper. So look, Lim, you're saying my opinion is Lopetegui, the guy who I can't pronounce. Valverde, Rodgers, Laurent Blanc, and Enrique. I don't think, would Enrique come on a short-term basis? No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. Again, I put Enrique in the same part as Diego Simeone. It's Mancini. Let's not talk about Mancini, man. Let's not talk about Mancini. Seriously, like what are we doing here? It's not like I told you, we look like a stoner going into a supermarket. I keep using the analogy because it's so damn spot on. Because, my friend told me once when he got high. I've never done it before, obviously. But you go in, you're hungry, everything looks delicious. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that, have a bit of that, have a bit of that, have a bit of that. We need to whittle it down. I thought we had a short list. But I don't know, it seems like a bit of a free-for-all at the moment, doesn't it? If we go back into these Valverde stories, and we look at what James Ducker has been saying on it. It said Manchester United have held talks with Ernesto Valverde over the interim manager job. Scroll down here. Manchester United have held talks with former Barca coach Ernesto Valverde. Let me scroll in so you can see that a little bit more. Don't say I don't treat you well. On a day when the current caretaker manager oversaw a vital win that secured the club's passage into the Champions League knockouts. Big up Champions League knockouts, by the way. Big up to that. Scroll down here. Let's see what else he's been saying. Valverde is understood to be one of a number of candidates under consideration for an interim position should they be unable to prize Mauricio Pochettino away from PSG or appoint another permanent manager. John Murto held talks with Valverde. Pochettino, who is keen on the Manchester United job, left the door open for a move on Tuesday, despite insisting that he was happy at PSG. But as I said, I've said it. James Ducker said it. Everyone knows it. Poch wants United. He's sitting there talking about how his club is competing in the Premier League. His family still lives in England. He would love nothing more than to come to Manchester United and express the project that he's got in his head and just being able to have the autonomy to do it. And that's something that he doesn't have at PSG. And it's a big part of the video I'm going to be doing on Poch's coaching style. And that is a major reason why he sort of jars him. Why it's like that at PSG, why it isn't working. He's having to adapt to PSG rather than him being able to mold PSG in his image. And that kind of jars with what he wants to do. Sashi saying Poch is the guy that wanted us 3 years ago. And Mo, you're saying Poch in, please. Well, lots of people want Poch. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of interested United fans watching that game between PSG and City tonight. And I will be one of them. I'm interested to see how PSG play against City. It's a real blockbuster of a game. Every neutral should be watching that anyway with the players that are available. Hopefully, PSG pump little Baldy in his own backyard and Poch just lifts his top up and he's got a United kit on. And then that's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. And as I said, I think Poch is going to lock himself in his hotel room in Manchester and not come out until PSG and United have signed the contract. But Ernesto Valverde, as I said, look, we continue down here. This is not fake news. This is proper news. This is coming from The Bubs from the BBC, Manchester United have contacted Ernesto Valverde over the interim role from Simon Stone. Now, this one is where we can have a little conversation here in the comments. This one's a bit interesting. Manchester United have contacted former Barca boss Ernesto Valverde about the role. He's one of a handful of candidates, which is what everyone else is saying. But what Simon Stone is saying that what no one else is saying, United are focusing on an interim boss to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what BBC is saying there, what Simon Stone is saying there, is that Manchester United, instead of focusing on Pochettino, are actually focusing on bringing in an interim manager. Now, what's your reaction to that? Do you think that's what we're doing? Do you think that's what we should be doing? You let me know in the comments below. It's an interesting one because there are two different approaches here. On the one hand, you get an interim manager in between now and the end of the season, giving you a few months as a football club to properly plan for the future with that manager that comes in the summer. Or you focus on someone like Pochettino, who you didn't think was going to be available now, but could be available now, and then you bring him in now. If you focus on Poch, then you don't really put Ten Hag into the equation, do you? And Ten Hag, we know, is going to be available in the summer. After this season with Ajax, Ten Hag is available right there for Manchester United. And it depends what you want to do. And this is definitely going to split opinion. So this is definitely going to split the board. I think our fan base will be reflective of the indecision inside Manchester United's board here over what the right decision to do is. Because there are options. Let me go down here and see what you're thinking about this in the comments. Oh, S7 said, I'll cry if you get Valverde. With Valverde won't be a permanent. Mo, you're saying the original plan was an interim because no one was available. They want Ten Hag, I think. Ten Hag is, I don't know. But Ten Hag is a bit... We haven't really heard anything past speculation. I know lots of us would want him, and I know I want him, but we haven't really heard anything past it. And I'm going to go into a few comments here from Ten Hag on what he had to say yesterday. Because as I said, yesterday was news day. Ten Hag spoke about United. Poch spoke about United. Valverde reports came out, and United won 2-0. And don't worry, I'm going to be speaking about United's game. I spoke about it in my match reaction, but I want to speak about Jadon Sancho in particular. I want to speak a little bit depth, so I'm going to be speaking about that at some point. The original plan, says T, was absolutely spot on. There was no plan. That's very, very true. Anthony's saying, get an interim because I want Ten Hag. And mine I do as well. Get Ragnick now and Ten Hag in the summer. Lots and lots of you agree with me. Or you're saying, I'm happy with Carrick out of all the managers we've ever had. He's got the highest. Well, get out or get out. I'm scared. I tweeted this after the game yesterday because I had to make sure that Rio Ferdinand didn't get excited because we know what Rio Ferdinand did after the Paris game and we know what happened after then. But I just wanted to make sure that I reminded Rio to calm his boots. All right? Calm his boots. I was like, Rio, don't you dare. Don't you dare be pointing your finger at that. Don't you dare be pointing your finger at that contract, all right? Not get excited. I know we all got excited yesterday because Manchester United actually won a football game. Manchester United actually got a clean sheet. Big up to everyone. Who was it on the stream that predicted 2-0? I think Klein predicted 2-0. There was a couple of you predicted 2-0. But I was like, Rio, hold your horses, son. Hold your horses. I know we won 2-0 there. Let's not get excited. What he should do is leave right now, Carrick, and just be the only manager ever to manage Manchester United and have a 100% win rate. Be nice, wouldn't it? And what you're saying here, you know what? I'm going off Ten Hag simply because I'm unsure he can do it without the backroom setup he has at Ajax. It's certainly a concern about Ten Hag. I would say if you're concerned about Pochettino because he hasn't won trophies, then you have to be equally, if not more concerned at the fact that Ten Hag's environment at Ajax is built for success. Everyone else is doing all the work in the background so he can just focus on the football. At Manchester United, it's a very, very different ballgame. It's like a political war room, I would call it. You've just got people sneaking behind each other's backs, decisions underhand, undercutting. It's not really run like a football club. We know that. So it's strange. It's strange. As I said, every single manager that we're linked with right now, they're all going to have pros and they're all going to have cons. There's not one standout manager who literally is perfect and there are no cons to his game. I'm going to be speaking about Paul Scholes' comments about Manchester United's staff. Don't worry about that. I'm getting into that next. But another name on the list that's came out this morning, and that is Rudy Garcia. So that's an interesting one. Let me go into this article, actually. You quickly read this whilst I'm on. Look at that. Who said men can't multitask? My God, they're lying. I mean, I'm not that good at multitasking, but let's read this article from Andy Mitten. This has only come out quite recently. And Andy Mitten, as we know, is somebody who has very strong links and connections to the club, so he knows what he's talking about. Let's see what Andy is having to say here on Rudy Garcia. Here it said Manchester United are in talks with Rudy Garcia to become interim manager. Let's scroll down here. Rudy Garcia has been interviewed by Manchester United for the position of interim manager. The French coach coached the Lyon team that knocked City out of the Champions League in 2020 and led Lyon to their first trophy in 50 years in 2011, a League and Cup double, helped by bringing in 17-year-old Eden Hazard. Garcia has a good record at doing well at clubs which aren't. Blah, blah, blah. See what else he's got there. Garcia spoke to United ahead of the 2-0 victory against Villarreal, which saw the club progress. He spoke to Darren Fletcher and John Murto, the two football men are charged with making a football decision. Valverde was also interviewed for the role. Valverde was dismissed by Barca in 2020. So, yeah, he was sacked. So, yeah, okay. So, Andy Mitten here coming out and adding another goddamn name into the list. And that is Rudy Garcia. It's Rudy Garcia, the former Lyon boss. What's your opinion on him? There's two names that we got to speak about. Man, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to have to do a video maybe on Valverde and Rudy Garcia. Jeez. Man, it's busy. It's busy. But there you go. I'm going to have to do it because Andy Mitten's done it there. I can't ignore the Rudy Garcia rumors. I'm going to have to do a video on Rudy Garcia and Valverde and cover both of them in detail. What's your opinion? As I said, I'm not frustrated or angry at the fact that Manchester United's, football director is actually directing a bit of footballing decisions. He's speaking with Rudy Garcia. He's speaking with Ernesto Valverde, and that Manchester United are actually, doing things as a football club called contingency planning. Finally, we're doing some planning because Poch is our main option, but we know that it might not work out. So what the worst case scenario would be that Manchester United would, go for Poch, and then it all just blows up in our face, and then we're like, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? We're not doing that. We're speaking to Valverde. We're speaking to Garcia. I would say I find it strange the fact that we haven't spoken to Rangnick. What's your insight on that? Insight, input, opinion, whatever. Because if we've spoken to Garcia and Valverde, why would we not have spoken to Rangnick? Is the fact that both of them are available and out of jobs might be the reason, because Rangnick, of course, is Lokomotiv Moscow's, I think, global communications director. But Rudy Garcia, what's your opinion on that? Let me see. Go down here in the comments. Or you're saying it's a little bit strange. Strange is the wrong word, but as I said, I think it's probably more the fact. Oh, you're probably talking about Ralph Rangnick. Yeah, it is strange. It really is strange, that one. Garcia is a bad choice, says Stu. Rudy Garcia, well, you disagree. Rudy Garcia, says Chris. And this concept, I don't know where this spin came from. It's not spin, mate. Manchester United quite literally do not have a football manager. We are a club that doesn't have a manager. You can spin that if you want, but we're in talks and we're looking at multiple options. That's what United are doing. As I said, that's what happens when you don't have a plan and you don't have a manager. You look at everything. That's what United are doing, just opening our eyes and just seeing what's available now. What this is what should have happened behind the scenes during the last 3-4 weeks. Instead, it's happening in public now. Let's go over here. The mistake. What does spin mean, guys? The spin means it's some sort of PR move to divert your attention. It's smoke screen. It's ninja. No, it's not. It's just what's happening at Manchester United. It's just the fact that the club is in such chaos that there really are like 7 or 8 different spinning plates at the same time. What it should be at Manchester United is one focus, one direction, not one direction. In one direction actually. One focus here, and then we go for it. Absolutely like that. But Manchester United don't do that. As I said, it's like 6-7 spinning plates at the same time. And Rudy Garcia, another plate, add it on. And that's what it is. So technically it is spin. I got it all wrong. But it's spinning plates. It's not spinning PR stories. There we go. The board just want to keep Carrick until the end of the season, says Jay. I did say that. I'm worried. I am worried that Manchester United are not waiting, but if Carrick, he started off with a win. If Carrick now goes and beats Chelsea at Stamford, by the way, Chelsea looked so good yesterday against Juve, didn't they? 4-0. And Chelsea bloody having youth players scoring goals. That's not Chelsea. Know your place. Know your goddamn place. Anyway, they look Dominant. Kante, I think, went off with an injury. Fingers crossed he's injured. But my God, they look fantastic. They look fantastic. Why would Murto appoint a man who would replace him, says Ankit. That's a good point, Ari, Ralph Rangnick. And maybe that is the issue with Ralph Rangnick, is the fact that he would want that step up into a position of power after the job. And that's the only reason he would take it on an interim basis. And that's why Rangnick isn't being linked with a job. This situation just goes to show the importance of a proper director of football. A club identifies a player managers who will fit the way we play. Spot on there, and that's exactly why we've always needed one, because that was my biggest fear with Solskjaer of what was going to come next. We needed it to be a continuation. Going to have to look at Rudy Garcia's style of play. Going to have to look at Valverde's style of play. Jeez, man, it's busy. It's so busy. I've got nothing else to do, apart from live. But no, I'll do a video I'll cover the rumors today on Rudy Garcia and Valverde. I won't be able to do an in-depth video. That'll take too long. But the director of football, at least we're actually finally, this is the first time that I've heard John Murto's name finally actually linked with doing something in public. Throughout this whole process about Solskjaer, would he be sacked? Would he have his job? X, Y, Z. I've never really heard John Murto's name linked. I'm sure he's doing work behind the scenes, but I want to see him taking a more prominent role, a more public role as our director of football to direct the football. That's what I want to see him doing. So at least we're hearing that John Murto's in discussions here with Rudy Garcia, with Ernesto Valverde, and Ed Woodward's name is nowhere near it. I'll tell you what, Woodward probably didn't even know who Rudy Garcia or Ernesto Valverde were until this morning when John Murto spoke to him about it. But yeah, I'm finally glad to hear that John Murto's actually doing something. Now, of course, they're not the only names on the list. Jesus. Let's go through this. This is from Christian Falk. As I said, he's mentioned Roberto Mancini. I don't think Mancini's going anywhere away from Italy. I would add that to the same part as Diego Simeone. Let's not waste our time on it. Ralph Rangnick, he's saying the talks between Rangnick and United were unsatisfactory, apparently, for both sides. That's not what we've heard from anywhere else, but maybe Rangnick isn't an option. Now, this one's going to absolutely crease you up. Unai Emery is Jesus, man. You may as well link Paul Ince with us now. Just get the whole family in. Get Steve Bruce in for an interview. I don't know. What about Sam Allardyce? Can't forget about Sam Allardyce. Maybe Tony Pulis. I reckon he could do a job. Man, at the top, I don't know. But Unai goddamn Emery has been Jesus, man. Like, what is going on? Stop it, United. I mean, you got to laugh at this point, right? You got to laugh. Seriously, if I drew up a list of the names of managers that have been linked with us, my word, we must be getting towards 20 now. We must be getting towards 20 different managers whose name have been thrown into the list. Maybe that's just the way of Manchester United. United sells. Everyone likes United, and that's why they talk about it. But Unai Emery, my God. You can stay out with the yellow submarine. Somebody I do want to speak about is old Baldy, the real Baldy, the one and only Baldy, Ten Hag, talking about Manchester United rumours. It's always nice when you were linked to clubs with this status. Ten Hag there is basically halfway to twerking. He would love the job. Of course he would. Look, and as much as Manchester United, I know that we've been down and out for a good few years. We're still Manchester United. I know some people do forget that. We're Man United, man. It doesn't matter how bad we've done, how bad we're doing. We are still Manchester United. We are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. And so many managers would love, most 99% of managers in the world would love to come to our club. Ten Hag is one of them. It's just that he won't do it in the middle of the season. You got Atmesh. It's a good point here. Dyche is the OG Baldy. Don't forget Dyche. Man, that guy, I reckon he could beat the crap out of like 80. If there was a Royal Rumble of all the managers in the world, I would say Sean Dyche would be. You'd probably back him to win it. He looks like an absolute unit. Wouldn't want to get into a scrap with him. Like the angriest bouncer in the world. That's what I call him. But Ten Hag. Yeah, Ten Hag, he wants that job, man. Of course he does. But Ten Hag is not going to take the job mid-season. And therein lies the problem with Ten Hag and why the Ten Hag story hasn't really developed that much further. What's your opinion on Ten Hag? Do you think there's any chance that at this moment in time, I don't think there's much chance of Ten Hag now. I think I'm kind of going a little bit quiet and muted on that. It's not the fact that I don't want him. That's very, very different. But Ten Hag is not leaving, man. He's not leaving Ajax mid-season. And we're going aggressively for Poch. The only way that Ten Hag comes in is if the Poch deal doesn't work. we get an interim manager in, and then Ten Hag or Poch are the two options at the end of the season. But still, at that point, I would say Poch is going to be the top choice ahead of Ten Hag. It's all a very strange situation. Look, before I quickly move on to the next point, and there's still plenty to talk about, please welcome to United People's TV. Welcome to United People's TV. Please consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video if you are new in town. There's loads of you watching, and I'm sure plenty of you are new and this is your first time. Welcome aboard. Love to have you here. United People's TV, there's a couple of competitions that we're doing this week. I'll announce it one more time here, as I do every single stream. If you want to win a free copy of this lovely autobiography from old Paddy Evra, see what pictures he's got in here. I reckon he's got some cracking photos. Look at that. There we go. It's a little picture of him, Silvestre, and it looks like, is that Zaha? Zaha? Not Zaha. Zaha. Yeah, that is. Oh, go on, Paddy. Who else we got in here? Oh, look, that's Paddy. Paddy and Messi. Can you see that there? Lovely. Anyway, if you want a chance of winning that, I've got a copy right here to give away on Friday on our interactive live stream. All you got to do is tweet Patrice Evra and tag United People's TV in it, at United People's TV, or go on Instagram and you can tweet him or just send a message to Evra. I want to get him on the channel. Tag him in it. Tag me in it. Simple as that. And also, every single week on United People's TV, Josh won one last week. Chris won one last week. I sent both of those out yesterday. You'll get them soon, lads. Giving away a Ronaldo 7 shirt, a CR7 shirt every single week here on United People's TV. All you got to do to be in with a chance of winning that every single week is become a member, either on YouTube or on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the join button. It's next to the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit the support now button. And on both videos, there's a link in the description. It's your way of giving a couple of quid every month to United People's TV, of supporting the channel, of getting entered into draws like this, and you can win it. Trust me. I'm not, trust me. Right. Let's go and let's head on to the next point. And I want to speak about this bloke because there's I don't remember celebrating a goal more than I celebrated this goal last night. In terms of this season, Jadon Sancho, proud to score my first goal for Manchester United in the best competition in the world. Great team effort from the boys tonight. We build for this. Look, what was your reaction to that goal from Jadon Sancho last night? I tell you what a goal to announce himself on a stage with. It wasn't an average effort, was it? It was my man, crossbar and in. The sexiest thing that exists in football is a goal that smashes in off the crossbar, hits the ground, goes back up and hits the top of the net. That's the best thing in the world. Jadon Sancho there with an absolute barnstorming finish after what was a game where, for me, he was my man of the match. Jadon Sancho deserved that goal after that performance. Jadon Sancho deserved that goal after what has been a very, very tough start for him at Manchester United. It has been, isn't it? But he nailed it there yesterday, and I was buzzing for him to actually finally get that goal and to do it in such quality. My God, fantastic. Kareem saying celebrated it more than Ronaldo's opener. So did I as well. I was really happy. Carl, he was your man of the match. Top shelf from Sancho on the right, mate. Sancho yesterday, we saw when United play with a bit of pace. That's when you get the most out of Sancho. Quick one-touch football. That move that he had with Bruno Fernandes, cutting inside, and then Bruno, a lovely pass back to him onto his left foot. Decent save by the keeper. That's when Sancho likes to play. Movement, quick, beautiful goal from Sancho. Mo, you scared your 18-month-old boy when Sancho scored. Well, can't be doing that. But yeah, I think everybody loved seeing that from Sancho yesterday. And you're saying everyone was slating Ole for playing him infrequently. He was easing him into the team, and it clearly paid off last night. Yes and no. Yes, he definitely eased him into the team, but he did not use him on the right-hand side anywhere near enough, and that can't be argued with. He played far too often on the left-hand side, and he looked a little bit lost in the same sense that Rashford looks a bit lost on the right-hand side. Sancho's definitely better on the left than in comparison to how good or bad Rashford is on the right. But still, Solskjaer did not use him anywhere near enough on that right-hand side. Or saying he was class last night. He was class last night. And let's remember last season with Dortmund, Jadon Sancho, I don't think it took him like 10 or 11 games to score for Dortmund. And then it just went, the floodgates opened. And it was getting goals or assists every game. Hopefully that'll be the start of something really special for him this season. I had no doubts at any point that Sancho was going to come good. It was a case of when and not if. Is it a coincidence that it's happened after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left? That can be a debate that you have. I think probably it was a coincidence. I think he has been getting opportunities and time, but that game yesterday, you know, it was, mate, it was a game. It almost felt like a proper game plan yesterday that we were tasked with sitting in for 60 minutes until Bruno and Rashford came on, and then we started opening up. Everything seemed organised. They were threatening, but we never really got threatened. Well, I say that David De Gea made like 2 or 3 absolute worldy saves. De Gea was arguably man of the match because he made some blinding saves. But for me, it was Jadon Sancho. That's just my own opinion on it. But I was just happy to see Jadon Sancho getting a goal and a big beaming smile on his face. He deserved that, and he needed that. What have we got over here? Right, okay, this is the other big talking point from the game. I mentioned this in my pre-match United Arms stream, and it's Paul Scholes and speaking about the staff. And I might do a separate video on this, but it's just so busy with everything that's going on with all the managers, Rudy Garcia now and Ernesto Valverde, that I might not have enough bloody time. But this is what Scholes was saying before the game. I'd be almost embarrassed being on the staff right now. I think they should have all gone. Ole trusted them each week, and they've let the club down just as much. No holding back from Paul Scholes on Solskjaer's staff remaining in charge. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it on the BT Sport channel. I'm not going to do it on here because I will always get slapped down for copyright because I can't make it the right size on the screen. But what's your opinion on what Scholes said about United staff? They should be embarrassed. Absolutely, they should be embarrassed. But I think Scholes is going a little bit. It's unrealistic to say what Scholes is saying there, because yeah, they could have and should have all gone. But then who coaches Manchester United this week in the interim? They are simply there by the grace of God because we don't have a manager. And if we had an interim manager or if we had Pochettino, they wouldn't be there at all. It's simply the fact that Scholes is not wrong in what he's saying here. He's absolutely spot on. I 100% agree the fact that they should have all gone, but they couldn't all go. And Manchester United go into a game against Villarreal 3 days after sacking the manager. It simply isn't realistic. So I think as I said, I understand the sentiment of what he's saying there. It's true what he said there, but I think it's just I don't think he's realistically thinking about it too much, because I don't think you could. You literally couldn't go into a Villarreal game with no coaching staff. My opinion, anyway. Keegan saying, "What's my opinion on Bruno's reaction to the Sancho goal?" I haven't seen that, but Bruno yesterday. Bruno is somebody who, let's be honest, his form has been pretty up and down. We'll call it up and down. That's me being polite. His form has been up and down for a while, but yesterday, wow. What a cameo from Bruno. Looked really fresh, looked sharp. His passing was really precise, involved an assist for Sancho's goal. He looked class yesterday, properly class yesterday. Like he really knew what he was doing on that pitch. And we even pressed properly with Bruno, which is nice. We go down here. Julian saying Carrick spoke well in the post-game press conference. Yeah, he did. So he did speak well. Darren, you're saying Scholes was correct in what he said. I back that 100%. I'm embarrassing him after Saturday's performance. And I'm sick of our poor results ruining my weekend. Well, you're going to have to not watch football because we've got Chelsea on Sunday. So, actually, no, it's on Sunday at 4:30. So you can have a decent weekend first. You might just have a bad Monday. Well, judging by how Chelsea are playing at the moment, that's for sure. Going down here, watching from Sierra Leone. Well, good morning to you, Creighton. Watching the whole way from Sierra Leone. Lovely to have you on board. Hey, look, we'll stay here for another 5, 6, 7 minutes. You keep firing in your questions and your opinions on anything that I haven't spoken about this morning, or if you want to, on anything I have spoken about and you want more information. But as a quick run through of everything that I've spoken about here, for those who have joined in, Pochettino, he was speaking about his future, and he was saying how happy he is at Manchester. See how even I'm doing. He was saying how happy he is at PSG. We looked into the reports, and we looked into him saying a little bit of how much his team is challenging and fighting in the Premier League. We then went over and we looked at the reports about Ernesto Valverde from The Guardian, from Fabrizio Romano, from The Telegraph and James Ducker, from the BBC and Simon Stone. And then we took a look at the reports coming out from Andy Mitten about Rudy Garcia. He's another name who is on the list. And then we spoke about, very briefly, Mancini. We spoke about Ralph Rangnick, and we spoke about Unai. And then we spoke about Ten Hag. Now, how many managers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 managers. I've had conversations this morning about 7 managers. Are you mad? Are you mad? Jeez. I mean, I don't know who to bet on anymore. I don't know what to bet on anymore. From everything that I saw between Sunday and Tuesday about Poch, I was like, wow, okay, United really are aggressively going after Poch. This could happen much quicker than we think it might. And then I've got a little bit more concerned over the last 12 to 24 hours, simply because, look, maybe I'm wrong. And look, let's see what happens after tonight. After the PSG City game, maybe nothing could really happen before this game, eh? And maybe we're just getting a little bit impatient. I suppose we do go impatient, and we do get impatient. But hell, man, I had to wait 4 bloody weeks from the Liverpool game for United to actually sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So maybe we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. A couple of super chats here. One from Salim. Cheers, buddy. We had the job done under enormous pressure and chaos. I'm happy. Hey, look, we did. If we're speaking about that game in pure isolation yesterday, we're top of our Champions League group, ladies and gents. We are top with 1 game to spare. We go into that round of 16 draw for February. I think it's on like the 19th of December, that draw is. I can't wait to see who United get, because I really want to do a European away trip this year. As I said, I had flights booked to Villarreal, but with everything going on, I didn't want to step away from work because I didn't want to let you guys down. Genuine, that's why I didn't go. But I want to go in February, so hopefully we get a nice draw. We'll see that. But yeah, top of the group with 1 game remaining. Very good. Very, very good indeed. Keegan saying Bruno's assist was a missed touch. Bruno's upset that Sancho scored and walked away head down after Sancho tucked it away. I didn't see that. Upset about being benched? Of course he was upset about being benched. That's probably why he played with such arrogance when he came on. But it worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. We could probably do a player-coach team if we get all the managers. We could do an absolute manager 11, couldn't we? With probably a manager reserve 11. That's how many managers we're getting linked with at the moment. My word. Let me go down here and see what you're all saying in the comments. Skulls 100%. Good win, but we were dominated in the first half. But for De Gea save after save, my son said he's a titan. And that's coming from an 8-year-old fan. Well, your 8-year-old son's got an excellent vocabulary there, Barry. Titan. Lovely word. He has been a titan this season. I'd probably say De Gea's our player of the season so far. I think he must be, really. It's either him or Ronaldo. Depends who you want to say. But Ronaldo yesterday again, Mr. Champions League. Is that his 6th goal in the Champions League? Guy is a joke. What a finish as well. Such a tidy instinct finish right next to the bottom of the poach. Poach? Even I've got Poch in my head now. I can't get it out. But yeah, look, predicted manager 11. That's going to come out soon. It's going to be a great video. I'm probably going to put Sean Dyche as our centre-back, as our captain for sure. I don't know. Who else we got? Valverde, he's a bit old. I'll probably leave him on the bench. Ragnick, I'll probably put him in the centre-back alongside Dyche. Not much pace in that centre-back partnership, though. Not sure. Ten Hag, I'm definitely putting him in as my centre midfielder. He sees the game nicely. Poch, well, we know where he's playing. He's a centre-back. We're playing 3 at the back. Oh, jeez. It's going to be a good predicted manager 11. Can't wait to do that video. Jeez. Things are just mad at United, aren't they? Things are just mad. You know, you'd like your club to just operate as a football club. As I said, that we can just come here, speak about how good last night was, speak about how we're excited for the Chelsea game, focusing on that. Instead, it's balmy. It's balmy. It's mad. It's crazy. It's Manchester United, and that's what happens when you got a club that's run by fools, run by idiots that don't care about the club, and we find ourselves in this situation. But look, that's a full roundup, and don't say I don't treat you well. It's a full roundup. I tried my hardest. It's really, really hard. Rudy Garcia came in and threw a curveball. It's hard to keep up to date with everything that's happening at United at the moment. I get the feeling I might have to come live later on again today. I'm going to do my video on Ernesto Valverde, and maybe I might have to do a video on Rudy Garcia as well. Jeez, it's busy, busy, busy. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in with United People's TV this morning. Thank you very much for all of your comments, as always. Please consider subscribing if you're still here and you have enjoyed it. As I said, I try to make this show genuinely the most interactive United show on YouTube. There are others? Of course there are. This is where you're going to get true interaction and your comments read out. Thank you very much for everybody for joining in. I will see you later on today. Not a live video, but I'm going to do a full story look at the Ernesto Valverde, and I might do it on Valverde and Garcia. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. But look, thank you very much for all joining in. Have a cracking day. 2-0 last night. Man United winning football games. Man United scoring 2 decent goals. The second one, especially sexy AF, and keeping a clean sheet. Carrick's at the wheel. Temporarily.